Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we are designing this website over here using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And in the previous video, we designed this testimonial section over here. Now in this video, we will design this pricing section over here. So let's get started. Right here, I'm in my source code. So let's go ahead and create a new section for pricing. So let's give it a class of pricing. And in this section, we need to have 3 of these plans. So first of all, let's add this heading. So I'll just copy this heading. And let's create an H2 and let's paste the text over here. And in that, let's create a division with a class of content. And in this, we will have all the plans. So for each of the plan, I'll just create a division with the class of plan. So let's go ahead and create a division with the class of plan. And in this, the first thing we need to have is this heading. So let's create an H4 for that. And the first plan is for basic. So I'll just type basic over here. Later, we're going to store all this content inside our JavaScript file. But for now, let's go ahead and write the HTML over here so that we can style it using CSS. So here we have these different features. So for this, I'll just create a division, or let's create an unordered list, and let's give it a class of plan features. Now in this, we will have list items, and the first one is 50 tasks. So I'll just copy this and let's paste it over here. Now in the same way, let's go ahead and copy and paste all these list items over here. All right, so I have created all these list items over here for this plan. And let's go to our design and let's see how it looks. So here we can see we have the plan. Now we need to style this. So before that, let's go ahead and copy this 2 more times. So just copy this and paste it 2 more times over here. And now let's style this. So let's go to our style.css file and let's create a comment. I'll just type pricing section. And now if we go back to our design, here we can see that all these pricing plans are one below the other. So I'll just set the display to grid. So I'll just type pricing, content, and let's set the display to grid. And we'll set the grid template columns to 1FR, 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 which means 3 items in a row. And let's add a gap of 20 pixels. So I'll just type gap 20 pixels. Right now, let's go ahead and style the container division, which has a class of plan. So let's type pricing, plan. And for this, we need to set the background color to white. And we need to add a border radius of 10 pixels. And let's set a padding of 24 pixels. Right now, let's go ahead and remove these bullets. We're going to add an icon over here. So let's go back to our style.css file and let's target the UL. So let's type pricing, UL, and let's set the list style to none. And we will also set the padding to 0. Right now, let's style these list items. So let's type pricing, ULLI. And let's set the margin to 16 pixels top and bottom and 0 for left and right. And we'll also set a line height and let's set it to 1.8. Right now, let's style this plan name. So for that, we have this H4 and we have this class of plan name over here. So let's target that. I'll just type pricing, plan name. And for the plan name, let's set the font size to 30 pixels. And we'll set the margin to 0. Right now, let's style the price. So for that, we have this division with a class of plan price. So let's go back over here and let's type pricing, plan price. And let's set the font size to 20 pixels. And let's set the font weight to bold. And then lastly, we have this button. So let's go back to the HTML file. And for the button, we have this anchor tag with a class of btn. So let's target that. I'll just type pricing, btn. And let's set a background color of black. And let's set the color of the text to white. And let's add a padding of 8 pixels top and bottom and 32 pixels left and right. And let's set the width to 100%. And let's set a margin top of 24 pixels. And the margin top is not being added. That's because this button is an inline element. So we have to type display of inline block. And now we have the margin displayed. Now let's also add a border radius. So I'll just type border radius. And let's set it to 10 pixels. And this is how the button looks. Now let's also add a hover effect. So if you go back to the original design, here we can see that we have this hover effect over here. So let's add that. So let's go back and here let's type pricing button colon hover. And when you hover with this, we need to increase the scale. So let's type transform scale and let's set it to 1.03 and let's add a transition and let's set it to all 200 milliseconds ease. And now we can see we have this hover effect. Now we also need to add an icon over here before all these features, but we will do that in the JavaScript. Right now the next thing we need to do is we need to display these different plans over here, and we're going to use JavaScript for that, and we're going to store all this data inside a JavaScript array. And just like we did for all the other sections like features and testimonials, we're going to store the data in JavaScript and display it using JavaScript. So let's go back to our JavaScript file, and here let's create an array. So I'll just create an array called plans, and in this we will have 3 objects for each of the plans. Right here the first thing we need to have is the name. So we have the plan name over here. So I'll just type name and we'll just set it to the name. So the name is basic. So I'll just type basic. And the next thing we need to have is the list of features. So here we can see that we have different features over here. Now for this we're going to create an array inside this object. So let's create features, and here let's create an array, and in this we need to have all these features. So first we have 50 tasks, so we need to add that over here, 50 tasks. And then we need to add the next feature over here, which is deadline tracking. So in this way you have to add all these features over here. So I'll just quickly go ahead and do that. Right, so I have added all the features. Now the next thing we need to have is the price. So let's type price, and for the first one we need to set it to free. And then lastly we need to have the link. So here we can see that we have this button, and here we need to add a link. So for each of the plans we will have different links. So let's add the link over here. So just type link, and here we can add the link. I'll just type hash for now. Now in this way you need to add all the plans you have in your website over here. So I'll just quickly copy and paste the plans over here. Right here I have copied and pasted all the plan details. And now let's go ahead and see how to display it in our website. So first of all let's go back to our HTML, and I'll just delete the second and the third plan. And I'll just comment this first plan over here. Right now let's go ahead and copy this HTML from here. So we need to copy from this line of code till here. So this is everything that we have inside this plan division. So let's copy this, and let's go back to our JavaScript file, and let's create a function for that. So I'll just create a function called display pricing, and let's create the function over here, const display pricing. Now here we need to loop through all the plans. So we have this array with the name of plans. So let's loop through this array. So just type plans dot for each, and for each of the plan I'll just call it p. Now in this we need to add the HTML. So let's create a constant for that. I'll just type HTML equals, and let's add backticks, and let's paste the HTML over here. And then we need to add this HTML inside a division with the class of plan. So let's create the division over here. So I'll just type const plan equals document.createElement div, and let's give it a class of plan. So let's type plan dot classlist dot add plan, and we need to add the HTML to the plan. So let's type plan dot inner HTML equals HTML. And then we need to add the plan inside this content division, which is inside pricing. So let's target this content division. So here in JavaScript, I'll just reference that. Here I'll just type const pricing content equals document dot query selector pricing content. And let's scroll down, and here let's type pricing content dot append child, and let's add the plan inside here. Right now we need to add the details inside our HTML. So the first thing we need to do is change the plan name. So let's type $symbol curly braces, and let's type p dot, and we have the name. And then here we have these features, so we need to add that as well, but we'll do that later. Before that, let's go ahead and add the price and the button link. So here let's type $symbol curly braces and p dot price, and here for the link let's type $symbol curly braces p dot link. Well, now we need to take care of these features. Now this is basically an array inside this array, so we need to also loop through this array. So what we're going to do is we're going to create another constant over here, and let's call it features HTML, and let's set it equal to p dot features, and we're going to use the map function in JavaScript. So let's type dot map, and what map does is that it will loop through all the items inside the array, and it will return something out of that. So what we need to do is we need to return an HTML from all these features. So the HTML that we need returned is this list item with the feature inside that. So here for each of the features I'll just call it f, and here let's add parentheses, and here we can add the code that we want to be returned. So let's use backticks, and let's create an li, and let's close the li over here. And in this li we need to add the feature, so we are calling the feature f over here. So I'll just type $symbol curly braces f. Now what this will do is it will store all the features as list items, and it will store it inside this features HTML. Now we can go ahead and add the features HTML over here. So I'll just delete all these list items, and here let's type $symbol curly braces, and let's type features HTML. Now let's go back to our website, and here we can see all the plans are displayed over here. We also have the features displayed. Now there are two things we need to do. First of all, we need to remove these commas from here, and then we also need to add this icon. So first of all, let's add the icon. So here inside the li, let's create a span, and in this span we will add the icon. Let's also give it a class so that we can style it in the CSS, and let's give it a class of icon, and here let's add an img tag, and in this img tag let's add an src, and let's set it equal to the image. So let's type images /, and I have an image called check icon. So here we have the icon check icon.svg. So I'll just add that over here, check icon.svg, and let's save it. Right now let's go back to our website, and here we can see that the icons are displayed. Now let's also add some margin. So let's go to the style.css file, and let's target the icon. So I'll just type pricing ULLI icon, and let's add a margin right of 10 pixels, and here we have the margin. Now here we can see that we also have comma displayed over here after every feature. So for that we need to add some code to the JavaScript. So here after mapping through all the features, we also need to type dot join, and here we need to type blank. So this will remove the commas, and now we can see that our pricing table looks alright. So it looks just like the original website. So that's basically how you can create this pricing table using HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and that's it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below, and if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.